Have you often wondered what your skin type is? Or maybe you've been confused about your skin type? Maybe you've gotten different answers from people and it's just very confusing. You've seen things on the internet and just nothing really seems to make sense, and you get one answer to another answer and you just kind of confused about it. Well, today this video is about how to understand a skin type and also understand a skin condition. And I find that those two are very important to really understand due to the information I'm going to share with you, and probably information you found on the internet which can be quite confusing. So I want to try to clear that up for you. I'm going to explain a skin type and a skin condition and the differences between them. So in short, a skin type is just all about your skin's oil. That's it. That's all what a skin type is. How much, how little oil your skin produces, where it produces it, and where it gets distributed throughout your skin. A skin condition is a condition of the skin that develops basically over time. And practically anyone can develop any of these skin conditions. It has a lot to do with maybe hereditary conditions, or maybe just your abuse or neglect to the skin. It depends on what the condition is and how you get it. Now I'm going to make videos separating each skin type and talk about them in videos, as well as each condition and talk about those in videos in this following month. Now that we've got that covered, the thing I want to discuss before I talk more about the skin types and the conditions, I want to discuss a little bit about what might be confusing you, because in essence, I just gave you the full-on answer. However, I do want to elaborate on it. And part of that elaboration that I want to give to you is due to the confusion of what a skin type is and what other professionals may be saying to you one-on-one, if you have seen a dermatologist or an esthetician, or whatever you've read in a book, or most importantly, the internet. So one of the things that I think is causing a bunch of confusion online about a skin type and skin conditions and how to treat your skin for the best health, from someone who has written a book and it's kind of been adopted by estheticians and dermatologists. I do not believe it is actually written in the textbooks for dermatology. I'm not sure. I was trying to do my research on that, and I don't think it is in textbooks for dermatologists who learn in actual school in their textbooks. But I do believe it has been definitely adopted by them, as well as estheticians as well. I am not here to try to discredit anyone. I'm just trying to discuss the differences and maybe the issues that people have had. And I kind of feel like part of this is possibly part of the confusion. One person that I have found particularly online, and she's written a book, is a woman named Leslie Booman, who is an MD. She, I believe, is a dermatologist, and she has written a book called The Skin Type Solution. And I'm all for someone who can describe and explain things and make things simple for people, but like I said, I think this is a little confusing. I'm going to explain it here in just a moment. So one of the things that I did come across was a website called skintypesolutions.com. is this, where it says, what are the barriers to skin health? And it gives some information here. I mean, it looks really kind of cool and informative. It does look good in that sense. And I believe she or someone, I'm not really sure. I didn't do the full entire thing here, but I just basically looked over it and kind of, I believe they actually have a whole skincare line or something, is what I found earlier. Basically, she's made this chart that kind of describes the skin types. And she just calls them a skin type, in a sense, from my understanding. I have not read the book or anything, but this is just what I kind of understood and what I got out of online. So she's made this entire graph here, and she's numbered them. I just realized the sequence is kind of strange here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I'm not really sure why it's out of sequence like that. Why doesn't it just go down the line like this or like this? Not really sure. But as you can see here, it starts off with, like, well, number 1, where are we? It's dry, sensitive, pigmented, tight skin. I think this is just way too much, and it'll go into, like, for example, see, and it has dry, sensitive, pigmented, tight. So they have their acronyms to kind of describe this. We also have oily, sensitive, non-pigmented, tight. So it just kind of gets I think it gets confusing because you have dry, resistant, pigmented, wrinkle prone, oily, resistant, pigmented, tight. So it's trying to tell you oily or dry. I don't think it says anything else between other skin types, and I just find this to be kind of confusing. You may have also seen this maybe online as well. And I think a lot of information is coming from this book or information particularly. I have this dictionary. It is called the Skincare and Cosmetic Ingredients Dictionary. This is 3rd edition. They have made a 4th edition, so it's a little bit outdated, but the information about skin isn't really outdated, as we know. And I particularly am using this book right now because it's the Maladies, which is the clear across the board textbook information that any kind of cosmetologist, nail technician, esthetician, barber is going to use the Maladies version textbooks. That's what they learn in the School of Beauty all across the United States. This is not just any dictionary. This is the textbook, basically, version of the company that makes the textbooks for the education of the United States of cosmetology and barbering is what they will call it. I wanted you to hear some information from the horse's mouth itself. It's not just my information, but also from the textbook standards. And yeah, you can see my little monkey. He's my little bookmark. This is where we're gonna go. So I'm going to read to you as fast as I can in a way to describe what a skin type is according to this book. And it's pretty much what I've already told you, but I want you to kind of hear it. Skin types are hereditary and are the result of oil gland functioning. Skin types can be classified into 3 categories: normal, oily, and dry. In most cases, individuals have a combination of skin types, such as oily T-zone around the eyes, nose, and chin, and normal cheeks. Of course, these skin types occur in varying degrees, such as very oily or very dry, slightly oily or slightly dry. The notation that one person's skin can be oily and dry is more commonly a confusion in concept than a reality. For example, when people describe their skin as having been oily and all of a sudden being dry, they're referring to an oily skin type that is losing moisture because of over-drying. This is usually caused by excessive use of astringents, soaps, and/or scrubs in an attempt to reduce the amount of oil secretion. While the skin is an oily type, this dryness should be considered a skin condition and be properly referred to as dehydration, a lack of water, moisture, rather than oil. In general, there seems to be such an obsession with oiliness that people forget about moisture. It is quite common to hear, "I don't need a moisturizer, my skin is oily." It is important to remember that the skin has oil from the oil glands and water from the intercellular channels, and that both are important for its beauty and for its retarding the aging process. Now, the other thing I do want to share as well, and it is key, the final comment in this, after it talks about skin types, which again, I'll make separate videos for. In diagnosing the skin, it is recommended to first identify the skin type. This will avoid confusing dryness, lack of oil, with dehydration, lack of water. It will also greatly assist in the proper identification of a skincare product with ingredients of most benefit to the skin in question. Proper diagnosis of the skin type and/or condition is key to identifying the correct skincare product with the most valuable therapeutic ingredients. So that is really the most important. You got to identify the skin type, the oil secretion or lack thereof, and where it is producing on the skin and where it's being distributed. That's my definition of it. And then diagnose the condition. Not talking about oily, dry, and tight and aging, and all this other confusion that could possibly be on the internet. So what the book stated is that there are basically 3 categorized of skin types, and that's oily, dry, and normal. And then it kind of went on to discuss a little bit of the combination skin, which I will discuss in a later video. But it's all about how much or how little the oil is produced naturally by your skin, where it's being produced. It could be all over or just say in the T-zone or none at all, and where it can also be a little bit distributed. So it might be producing in the T-zone, but it could kind of spread out, for example. So it's all about the oil content. And then the condition can be other varying factors such as dehydration, as it kind of talked a little bit about. It can also be the aging process, which is, I will talk more about that later, but it's the aging, the lines and the wrinkles. Sun damage, which is also blotchy skin, dark spots, uneven skin tone. It can also be sensitivity. That is not a skin type. That was the other thing. A lot of people think sensitivity is a skin type. It's not a skin type because it has nothing to do with the oil. It has something to do with how your skin is reacting. That's actually a condition. Then we also have acne and also sometimes texture. Now there's other conditions that an esthetician may not touch, but really is only for a dermatologist to touch, such as rosacea, eczema, and psoriasis, for example, and then other skin disorders and things that might be kind of more rare or just not really commonly known. There's also another one called capillary skin, which has to do with the dilation of the blood vessels, which is also another connection to rosacea. Find out your skin type, the oil content, what your skin is doing naturally with the oil, and then find out what are the other things we don't like? What are the things that need to be corrected for better skin health, look, feel, and everything. And if you're curious a little bit about your skin type and want to know more about it and how to take care of it, I do have a skin type quiz and I will link it down below for you to take. And that'll also give you a free PDF that will give you a daily and weekly regimen of how you would take care of your skin and what products to use, as well as understanding a little bit more about your skin conditions that you have some issues with. And I will also be sending out some emails with information on each of those for you to understand a little bit more about your skin condition. So look forward to my next few videos that I will be making in November about each skin type specifically and also each skin type specifically. And we'll discuss more about each one so you get a better understanding of what you can do to solve your problems and have healthy, beautiful skin. Thanks so much for joining me here at Contour Image. I really appreciate it. And remember to stay beautiful for life.